Do you have tasks or goals that need to be accomplished on a weekly or even monthly basis, and they turn out the complete opposite of what you had envisioned it would go? Today, let's fight towards the odds that are against us on today's episode of the Bump Podcast.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Bump Podcast. I'm your host Shamir, here with my co-host and beloved brother Nabil.
Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes.
Always remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the ringle dingle dingle.
Don't forget
Please
that.
support us because we definitely need it. We definitely been going up on some subscribers.
Oh yes,
I
yes.
was on a podcast recently, Inside True
That
Crime.
it was.
Thank you to Matthew Cox for inviting me over. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
But today, on another note, we're definitely going to be talking about
Odds that are against
fighting
us.
against all odds. Yes. And the reason we picked this topic was for multiple reasons. We're definitely going through our life situations. You know,
That we
elections
are.
are coming, our own personal lives, whether it's,
Different things are going on
you
in our
know,
personal lives that the odds are definitely against us. So when
For
Shamir
sure.
brought the topic up, I was like, you know what? This is going to be perfect for today's episode.
Indeed.
I'm definitely down to talk about it because I think we have a lot to unpack. And so here we are talking about this today.
Definitely, you know, we
Heck,
want
the odds are stacked up against this one with his football team.
You know what? That's the start. Yeah, man. Everybody's hating. You know what? There's just so many haters out there, no matter what. But yes, there's a lot of haters on the Philadelphia Eagles. We got championships. Some of y'all's teams don't even have a championship. You mind too. Anyways,
Yep.
Nabil, go ahead and bring them the kind of the understanding of what we're talking about today.
Well, essentially, odds, when you say the odds are against you, it's basically what it means is someone or something is unlikely to succeed or win because conditions are unfavorable. You could also put it into the aspect of it's a way an outcome cannot occur compared to how many ways it can occur. So I just kind of want to put this question out there. What kind of odds are against you right now in your life, in your personal life? I'm talking to you specifically, the people who are watching us and listening to us right now.
Mm-hmm.
What odds are stacked up against you? Whether it's school, whether it's relationships, whether it's hopes and dreams, a career path of some sort, future goals and plans that you're really trying to make it happen.
Anybody in school that is going through bullying or
of course,
criticism.
Heck, parents that are trying to, do their day job, whatever that might be, and then they come home and they also have to be a parent.
Sure.
And maybe some of them have to come home and their kids are already asleep, so they don't really get to see them except for their days off.
Right.
Depending if the days off line up with when the kids are available too.
For sure.
Again, goals and dreams. You know, we're both trying to pursue different career paths. We're trying to stay focused on our loved ones while also balancing what our career paths are going to be, and it's not that easy. There's definitely a lot of things that feels that they are against us right now, and you sometimes just kind of feel like you're trapped into a corner,
Right.
and you don't know what to do. You feel like giving up. You feel like being pissed off at the world,
Right?
Because you're just like, bro, every single door keeps shutting in my face, and I don't know what to do. Even for people like us who we believe in God and we pray and all that stuff, it's still so hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? Believing in God doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It just means that we're going to have an opportunity to be able to rely in Almighty God, a higher power, if you will, that will allow us to overcome it at His time, not our time. For some of you guys, that may not make sense, and that's fine. Please feel free to ask us questions, and we'd be more than happy to answer as best way as we can, where it hopefully will make sense to you.
Right.
But for those of you that don't believe, it's just kind of like, okay, well, what do I do? I guess I'm not lucky. I've never liked the term lucky. It just doesn't make sense, because then it's just you're kind of saying, oh, well, then I guess you're lucky and I'm not. Why?
Right.
Why? We're born in similar ways. We're humans you know, we're
Right.
we're in the same level of humanity, if you will.
Right.
Maybe not economically speaking or something like that. That might differ, and obviously some people might have more of an advantage than what is it, a middle class or a lower class, but still, I feel like there's ways where we can absolutely overcome it without feeling like we're, you know, not blessed and fortunate to be able to do what others have already accomplished.
For sure.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, so I have something here. It says, life is designed to be tough, but the key to success is determination, always. The courage to continue and the resolution to fight all odds is what counts the most. At the end of the day, once we understand that life is not easy,
and accept it,
thank you. We come to an understanding, and it's a lot easier to fight the battles. Again, you know, the other day I had a very big issue, family issue, and I ended up solving the problems in a wrong way. Nabil had to come from his house to come, like I say, save me, give me a hug, bring closure to me, because he's the only like really close person other than my girlfriend that can help me in those tough situations and understand it. Nabil is definitely a phenomenal person when it comes to grieving and all that, because Nabil will not be the person to be like, yeah, but you know, you got to do this and this and this. Like there's again, like our past episode that we had recently, that we were talking about. What was it? The topic?
It was, I don't. Yeah, it was just a few topics ago. But this is how far ahead we are. We're just kind of like going.
Yeah.
In one of our recent episodes, we talked about how it's important for us to, when a person is grieving, when a person is going through hardships, that we don't sound like we're trying to preach to them.
Right.
We're just simply there to listen, to console, and to just support and show love. And if they want to hear your opinion, if they want to hear, you know, some advice, then you give it.
Right.
Don't just give it off rip. And I've made that mistake.
Right.
So that day when he needed me to come through, my wife and I came through, and we just listened. And he let out everything he had to let out. And we just listened, and we were here for like hours.
And I do want to admit as well, I did have a few drinks that day by myself
as a form of coping.
Right. I guess, you know, I was upset at all this situation that was going on, because it's been happening constantly where you cater to people and it's never enough for some people. And it's just like you give and give and give and give and continue to give in life. And then it gets to a point where it's just like, okay, what about me? And it's not that I want something in return that's like, hey, I gave you all these moments of my life, all this time invested, and I want you to do the same for me. Now come and give me time. It's more like you still don't value the amount of time that I've given you.
You want more, and you're not even appreciative.
And you're not even appreciative of like the 2-3 days out of the week that I give you, when I could be doing so many other things. And sometimes I've set aside my personal things that I have to do in order to satisfy,
to cater to them.
Yes, and it's sad. So I've just gotten to the point where it's one of those things, like this past week has been very rough. Not just that, like the things that are going on in society, you know, and it just adds a toll on my mind. I wouldn't say like it's unhealthy. I think it's just a phase where I just got to go through to continue to become stronger. And that's definitely one of the key things I want to talk about today, where it's like we have to indulge in our fears, in our negativity sometimes that approaches us, in order to become successful in anything we do or any obstacle we go through in life. Because if we get scared of being hurt again, of being going through a trial or a tribulation, we're just not opening up to growth. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And I have this quote 100%. Here that I want to say. I wanted to finish with this one, but we'll do it right now because it's really good. It says, everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
You know, we have to be able to jump that hurdle whether we like it or not, and that's why we're on here today. We want to encourage people to stay motivated, to stay happy, to stay encouraged, to stay focused. All these words in the midst of all these situations that are going on right now, and so we can see the beauty of life on the other side. You see what I'm saying? Because, you know, there's always a storm, but there's always a calm time in life too. There's good times, and we got to be appreciative in those moments as well of the good times, because when the bad times are to arrive, again, you know, we have to be ready for them. You know, I feel like the calm times in life is where you have to rejuvenate your strengths in order to go back into battle at some point. So we have to recognize that, you know.
I couldn't agree more. And sometimes I feel like when we're going through the struggles, we kind of let the depressive state, or, you know, the sadness, the weight, the heavy weight that we're feeling, we let it overcome us in such a way where we sometimes just stay stagnant and we don't try to do anything to get out of that rut. And our encouragement to you guys is, don't stay there. Do your best to talk to people that love you, people that care for you, and know that they're going to listen to you. And if you want their advice, you know, certainly ask for it, and make sure it is a person that will give you good advice, not necessarily what you want to hear, but things that you have to hear, so that you can actually move forward with it. Also, you know, I'm just as we're speaking to you guys, you know, I'm just thinking of like what we've been going through the past couple of weeks and whatnot. And you know, for me personally, I have felt like a lot of doors keep closing in my face. And I'm just like, listen, I know I'm meant, in my heart, I feel like I'm meant to do so much more than what I'm currently doing.
For sure.
And I'm doing my best to be able to get to that next level, and I'm not there yet. And there's a Bible verse that I'm not quoting it word for word because I don't remember it word for word. But essentially it says that we have to be joyful in the difficult moments.
For sure. And
I even read, I follow this channel on Instagram where they have a lot of different positive quotes and things like that on a day-to-day basis. And I can't remember the name either, otherwise I would mention it. But they were saying how it's only through the difficult situations that we will actually learn how to appreciate the destination that we're going towards, because once we get to the destination we're going towards, we won't have that same joy and appreciation because we already reached it. Right. It's on your way there that you're really going to value everything that you're going through and what you're chasing after, what you're going after, in order for us to grow and become better and you know, whatever it is that we need to do in order to make that next step in progress. To have a healthier lifestyle, a brighter future, you know, if you want to call it success for our loved ones, all of that stuff. So we have to appreciate the journey itself rather than the actual destination.
Right.
I hope that makes sense.
For sure.
And I don't feel joy with the journey that I'm going through right now. It's just more heartbreak right now.
Right.
And I keep trying to talk myself out of it every day, and some days are better than others. Right. But the past couple of days have just been just like, okay, I'm waking up, I'm going to go after what I need to do. I got to hustle. And then it's just boom, 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 doors slapped right in the face. And you're just like,
I understand it.
Bro, all this weight is just, I can't take it anymore. Yeah. You know? And I know there's people I can talk to, but there's also people that I have tried to talk to and they've let me down.
Right. And
you tell them, and it still bites you in the butt.
Right.
So these are things that we're trying to maneuver, and we're trying to be as raw and open with you guys who are watching and listening to us,
sure, so
that you understand we're not coming from a place of like we rehearsed this or whatever. Like we're trying to be as transparent as possible, so that we all can relate to one another and know that we're not facing life alone, but rather we're doing it together.
For sure.
And that this is a place where we could come, let it all out, release it, gain new strength, and then let's keep on going, because we're not going to stop.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. You know, if we have another opportunity to wake up a new day, that means we have another opportunity to continue to start fresh. We have new strength. Let's keep going. Let's keep trekking. Let's not give up. Giving up will never get you to the destination that you want. So it's better to actually fight through it and keep walking towards it, even if the odds, again, you know, are stacked up against us.
Right.
We have a better chance of reaching that destination than just completely quitting. And I don't want any of us here on the Bump Podcast to quit.
Right.
If you need to take a break, but then keep on going.
For sure. I consider this, like, life in general as like a 5K
sprint
race, or whatever you want to call it. If there's two types of way to approach the race, I would say, which is number one, in a competitive way, and one in a steady way.
Slow and steady.
Like steady.
The tortoise, the turtle.
You know, are you doing it because you want to compete, or are you doing it because you want to be in condition or become physically fit, right? So the way I see it, my approach is not so much in the competitive. I'd be more in the slow and steady, which is like, yes, I'll start off walking, warming up, then I'll jog. When I get tired, I'll walk again, but I won't stop.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? At least you're walking, like you're still completing the mission of finishing the 3.5 miles that you got to do in a 5K race, right? So that's just how I take life. You know, I know and I understand at this point that our hardships that we're going through and that you guys are going through is all for a purpose and a meaning, and for us to gain more clarity and understanding, because we as humans, we forget a lot of things at times, and we have to be constantly reminded of, like, hey, you know, that's why for like people that are believers in the word, you know, if you look in the Bible, a lot of things are repetitive, but probably said in a different way. But it's to remind us that we have a living God, a faithful God, a God that loves us, that cares for us and watches over for us. But he puts us through these situations in order to understand that this is nature, this is the way things work, and whether we like it or not, this is life. And
sometimes it just doesn't make sense to us.
Yeah, and sometimes
but for him, he already has it, you know.
Right. It's
planned out for us.
Right.
in a.
It's predestined, and you know.
Okay. Now that you mentioned predestined, you truly believe that life is predestined for every single one of us? I've always heard this debate, and it's just such an interesting topic.
So I think that, you know how I see life, believe it or not, this is just in my own personal mental state on a constant basis. And it might sound hilarious. And again, in that podcast that I was interviewed, probably a lot of people think that I was illogical in a lot of things. Fine. And it's probably still to this moment, I think that my mindset's like this. And it's like, I see my life as like, I'm that person in a video game, like The Sims. Like, you created it, somebody created me, somebody created me, and somebody has a controller and is controlling me to a certain extent. Okay. The rest is kind of just like on autopilot. You know, like, okay, in the video game, like, you have the avatar walking or doing something, but then everything around it, you're not controlling that. That's already happening. So that's just how I look at life. So, like, there's certain things that we have control over, and then there's other things that we don't. So that's how I look at predestination. I believe that it is predestined. It is mentioned in the word, if you're a believer. I also think that, you know, just a lot of.
So where in the Bible does it say about predestined? I only ask because I know there could be people that are going to ask.
I think in the gospel there is. Let's look it up real quick to be accurate. Honestly,
it's important. I ask that question because I know there's plenty of you out there, whether you believe in God or not, that are be like, okay, but where does it talk about predestination and all that stuff? And it's super important that we can provide the proof, whether it is live now or, you know, we can do it later on. We can come back to it, but it's important to provide it. That way we're not misinforming anyone. And if we did misinform, we can correct ourselves and keep on going. But to me, that's super important to always clarify.
Okay, so here it's saying Romans chapter 8, verse 29 and 30, Ephesians chapter 1, verse 3 and 11, not through 11, and 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 7, and the crucifixion of Christ in Acts chapter 2, 23, and chapter 4, verse 28. But if we go a little bit more deep inside let's see here. There's so many. You see in the gospel, there's a few.
The different books that you mentioned were where they utilize the word predestined.
Let's check it out.
Right.
It's some of them for sure. Let's see here. Anyways, in the meanwhile, while I look it up, what I can say is that I firmly believe in predestination. I think that it's, there's just so many things we don't understand, but the people that wrote the Word of God, or even if you go into other religions where you see things that are just so accurate and on point and there's just no way around it, there's definitely an upper power that's way more in control than any human being, any living power on this earth. There's something out there, man, and it's just there's no way that we can't. There's so many things that as humans we don't comprehend, no matter the IQ you have.
Well, that's why it says in the scriptures that His ways are higher than our ways. His understanding is higher than ours. You know what I mean? He's the creator, so of course we're not going to understand what the creator has planned for us.
Okay, so it says in Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy, thank you. I always get this one wrong. It says predestination is definitely one of the secret things of Deuteronomy 29:29. In this life we shall dimly and only in part, but one day we shall know fully. So, whether it's said with the word predestination or partially insinuating it, I think that overall, if you do your homework in the Bible, I wasn't really prepared for predestination word today, honestly, but I really think that that's definitely one of the main things that, if just put yourself in the position if you were God for a second, you know what I'm saying, like.
You already have certain things planned out forever.
For example, let's Bruce Almighty. That was a movie where Jim Carrey projected.
He obtains the powers of God
for a while.
Yeah.
And if you notice, like people that were praying, like prayer, right?
He would hear it.
He'd hear it, and then he'd type in a computer and make it happen, right? So that to me is kind of an insinuation of predestination. Like you ask for it, and it's it's on His time. So essentially, like.
Right, because we don't get what we want either right away.
It's still not the future or the present. Like, He's giving it to you whenever He wants, essentially. So it's like, at the end of the day, we don't comprehend fully. So it's just like, we go based off or what we were taught or what we've learned. But I think that's like anything in life. And it's back to our topic today. It's like, we have to understand that these are just the laws of life. Last night, as a matter of fact, in my sociology class, we were talking about rules and laws in society that we like and don't like, and why. Right? It was a really good topic. I love that class so much because it's just like it's so relevant to like everyday life.
Yeah.
And how people think and everybody's perspectives.
So rules that you like and don't like.
And why. So like give a reason, a solid reason, and hopefully it's concrete where it's like, okay, yes, this definitely makes sense. So two of the things I said, and it's pretty funny because I was like, okay, stoplights, like traffic lights, right? You have red, yellow, and green. And it's just like there's times where it's like, it makes no sense to me because like I'm pretty sure it's happened to everybody on this planet that's driven. If you're at a stoplight sometimes, right, and there's no cars driving by in the direction that the light is currently green, you're just like, how many minutes or hours in your life have you wasted at a light in your lifetime waiting for it to change for you to go and fulfill your purpose for the remainder of the day? So then I'm like, okay, is it a capitalistic person that created the lights in order for you to waste gas for them to make money? And on top of that, you waste your time while they're traveling in a helicopter or in a plane.
Or a private jet.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Makes you think. So then it's just like...
That's good.
It's awesome because it's like, okay, it brings us a form of... what do they call it? Of not security, but like... protection of the people in society, and still people crash at stoplights all the time, which is incredible. So it's like, is it even worth it? And then the other rule that I said was kind of dumb is speeding. Like if I have a car that drives over 100 miles an hour, it literally says you could drive 100 miles an hour. This is what I said. I'm not saying that speeding is not, a certain speed limit in certain areas like school zones and stuff like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a car having over 100 miles that you could drive on it, and you can't speed on certain roads that, like, this is how I put it on the topic in the class discussion. I was like, if you are like, let's say 2-3 in the morning, the street's empty, and you're in a freaking like Lamborghini or something like that, or like even a fast car, it doesn't have to be a freaking Lamborghini, but like, let's say if you do have a Lamb, and you're driving down the road, it's 2-3 in the morning, nobody's in the road, and you could floor that guy for like 150, 160 miles, 200 miles an hour, just for a little quick little couple seconds just to hang out. But then a cop stops you because you're speeding. It's just like, who is in danger right now other than my life? Like, I'm worrying about myself and everybody else that I'm doing it at this time only because I own a Lamborghini, for example.
Well, it's like, why allow people or companies to make cars that go that fast for if you can't even
so that's
get
my
the use
point.
out of
so
it.
Then it's these laws. It's like the same thing. We could go on to like alcohol, the pharmaceuticals in general. Why do you guys permit this? But then when we go out, have a couple beers or a couple drinks, now you get a DUI down the road because you're under the influence. So it's like, then why even permit it? Because we got to make money.
Yeah, that's true.
All these things, so it's just like, bro, like
there's topics we can get off from that conversation.
Yeah, we'll definitely chop it off.
There's so much.
My point is just like, man, like it's sad to see how everything is so counterintuitive, so different nowadays, so erroneous and wrong, and the times we're living in, and the conversations. Like my buddy sent us the message the other day. That we're doing really good. We're talking about topics that nobody else wants to talk upon, and that's what we try to do. We try to make a difference, and I know at some point this is gonna take off, and people are gonna recognize and be like, "Wow, these people are pretty genuine." You know what I'm saying? We got our flaws, we got our issues. You know what I'm saying? Like
nobody's perfect.
We're fighting against the odds, anyways. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to show you guys that anything is possible. Yeah. As long as you're determined and you keep pushing. I have this little bit here that I wanted to say as well, which is, it says right here, it takes discipline, routine, education, action, and mentality to turn a dream into reality. Yeah. And if you notice, I'll post it on for you guys to see, but everything that I mentioned, if you see the first letter of everything I mentioned, discipline, routine, education, action, and mentality, every first letter literally spells out the word dream. So
love that.
We have to do these things. Let me break it down real quick. We have to have discipline every day. Do the same thing. It's repetitive. It sucks sometimes. Oh, I don't want to wake up. It's Monday. I gotta go to work. Or I gotta go to school. Or I gotta wake up with my kids, or whatever it may be. But hey, it's the due diligence of the daily, and you gotta get it done. So whatever your routine is, you gotta do it. That's the second one. Routine. It's repetitive. Routine is repetition. That's the way to greatness.
Yes,
that's like the college education system and everything. They say you are a master at what you're doing if you do over 10,000 hours of the same practice. So hello.
Wow, 10,000 hours. Holy cow.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it.
It makes sense.
Years of experience in the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You're a phenomenal actor. You've been doing this for many years. You've been practicing in your room for many years. You've been watching this thing for so many years. So you know how to see certain things. I remember you're the one that put me on, like, okay, like when scenes are cut, or like, and you notice like, oh, they cut that scene, they did something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see that before. I thought it was just they jumped to another scene or whatever. They're like, nope, they cut that. Anyways, you get my point. Education. I always say you don't got to go to school just because Shamir's going to college or everybody else around you is going to college means you got to go to college, but you do have to educate yourself in whatever
it is you
are trying to do. So you guys know what time it is. Action. Stop staying stagnant on this couch. Get up from this couch and go do something. No excuses.
We have made those excuses. Both of us have made excuses.
For sure. I've made so many excuses.
So have I.
I think in the past it was mostly because of the uncertainty of the other side. Is the grass greener? Is it not?
Yeah. Me, it was afraid of failing, never making it. And I'm going through it right now.
Yeah.
I am going through it right now, but I'm not scared of it. I'm not quitting. It's more of just like, yo, like I feel like my energy.
It's just a thought. It's a thought though that it's okay to have. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have those things. Like I think like any entrepreneur person that's a businessman that gets into a new venture that they haven't been through before, they'll always have that like, man, hopefully this goes well, because it's like, man, I'm putting my hard-earned money or my time into this for that same reason. And the last one is mentality. You have to have the right mentality. What's the right mentality, Shamir? Well, you know, the right mentality is everything that I just mentioned incorporated into one whole system, which is your brain, and recognizing that you got to get these things done.
Yes.
Point blank, period.
Yes.
You have to set a roadmap, like I always say, write things down. We were talking about journaling the other day, how a lot of people don't journal. They look at you like this in society, like, you got a journal, or you're like writing things?
You got a diary?
Like, what?
Yeah.
Listen.
Sad but true.
Pablo Escobar had a little notepad always on his little in his little pocket in his shirt, in his dress shirt, to write things down, because guess what? The brain can't hold it all. You know, our grandfather, rest in peace his soul, he used to write things down, and he always would say, the reason I write things down is the things that are written down are never forgotten.
That's so true.
So always remember that.
Also have a good old calendar. When you want to get things done, and we were talking about this last week, when you want to get things done, you need a form of discipline is writing things down on the calendar. And I don't mean just on the phone. For me, I have my phone calendar, and I actually have a physical calendar that I buy every single year. Most of it's Star Wars themed.
Shout out to Star Wars.
I don't care if you think I'm a child. It's dope. And so you write down what you're going to get done, what you want to get done, what things are coming up that you know that, oh, yeah, I got to make sure that, you know, I make this meeting or whatever. You have it down. It keeps you accountable. And you have some reminders of, oh, yeah, I got to go and do this. You do it, boom, you're one step closer to what you want to do or whatever it is you want to accomplish.
Right.
Not just, oh, yeah, we'll make a day, we'll figure it out. Don't leave it for tomorrow. I'm a sucker of doing that for years. I'll worry about that tomorrow. I'll do it today. You don't even know if you're waking up for tomorrow, so do what you can to get a foot in the door today.
Right.
You know, and if you woke up tomorrow, well, great. Now you got that foot in the door. Now walk in through that door.
I also wanted to say, too, there's a lot of people that fight against odds when it comes to, and I know it sounds weird what I'm about to say, but it's that I have a homie that's going through a situation with his pet. He's got a dog. It's a boxer. He's pretty old. But the reason why I bring this up, it has a lot to do with his mental health, right?
Okay. Is it a service dog?
No. Oh. But like it's been the dog that when he was going through suicidal thoughts, depression, all these things,
dog was there.
The little hound was the guy that was hugging him, that was sleeping with him. That's like,
good.
Yeah, man, I understand you, woof woof. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people use like animals or like even family members, people around them. Maybe those people aren't in their life anymore or are going through a situation that can't be there for you anymore. Yeah. You know, I want to say to those people out there as well that are fighting against those odds, like, you know, it's okay. It's going to be all right. Yeah. At the end of the day, life continues. The only reason why life wouldn't continue is for one reason, and that would be a terrible decision. Again, we have the hotline, the suicide hotline, at the bottom of all of our podcasts. Yeah, I literally took that as like a must-have on our podcast, on our description, because I love that. Of the topics we have. Like, you listen, I've been there. It's a tough situation to get out of, especially when you're so drowned in your thoughts and agony and whatever you're going through that is just taking over you. Listen, like doing this podcast today, I'm not gonna lie to you, my heart is like on fire of I would say stress and some type of anxiety because of the things, you know, we're going through on a daily.
I didn't even feel like really doing it, but then I was like, nah, see, that's the trick right there. Right. Where to achieve success, and I don't mean like just simple success, like I'm going to be rich and famous. No, success as in overcoming difficult obstacles that are in our way.
For sure.
So the thought of I'm not really in the mood. I said no. I need to push through so that we can get this episode out.
Right.
Plus, we need to continue to make our content.
For
right?
sure. For sure.
We haven't missed a Wednesday at all.
And we won't.
No. Mm-hmm. God willing, no. Because we know that so many of you guys are hurting the way we're hurting.
Sure.
We're hurting currently, and we're still doing this because if no one's doing it for us, we have to be able to do it for others, like yourselves that are watching and listening to us right now.
Yeah.
As you were saying.
So, just a lot of people go through these situations where it's like, man, it's tough. It's hard.
Yeah.
I just want you guys to understand that we comprehend you guys, that we do this for you guys and for us as well to like vent, let it out, like understand that it's okay to talk about these things. I had another friend the other day that hit me up. He's like, bro, like you guys are talking about things that are, it was actually at the chiropractor to be more specific. I got in a car accident recently. And ever since that day too, bro, I've noticed like my days have been very cloudy, very off. I haven't been at 100%, especially like, bro, like when your spine is messed up in a car accident, like that's just like one of the most important body parts that has to do with your brain as well and your function of your whole body.
Yeah.
And I haven't been feeling 100%. And it's just like, man, like when I go to the chiropractor and I talk to this guy, he was literally just telling me like, bro, like, these are topics that nobody wants to touch upon because it's just so touchy. They're just like in denial. And it's just like, bro, like it is okay, ladies and gentlemen. Understand that it's okay to talk, to let your feelings out, man, because the more you keep them in, man, it's a volcano. Like I feel like God made volcanoes to kind of show you that with due time, everything accumulates. And it just explodes at one point or another, whether you like it or not. And usually it's in the most random moments. The reason why I say that too is that the other day I watched a video, it's a short little reel on Instagram, I think it was, where there was an eruption randomly at this volcano site. I don't know where it was, but it was somewhere. And you just see the families, like everybody's running. You just see that thing like exploding, smoke everywhere, people running. And it's just like, bro, like it's sad because sometimes innocent bystanders in your life go through the repercussions of the things that are going through your mind and your life, sadly. And sometimes the people that least deserve it, go through it. So it's true. Let's be very conscious and awake about our feelings, and let's let them out. Let's not let anybody else tell us otherwise. Maybe some men out there are probably looking at us like, look at these wimps. Look at these guys. But it's okay. That's fine. Hey,
I don't lose any sleep over that.
But it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like we're
making the progress that you're not.
And I pray that anybody that thinks that way comes to a conclusion one day and notices that, hey, I might be thinking erroneously.
Those guys are onto something.
Yeah. You know what? Let's give them a subscribe. Let's like their video for a first time.
Yeah.
It's okay. Do you have anything else, mate?
I have a prayer I want to kind of put out there for everybody that touches upon this topic. I'm going to read it because I didn't come up with it, but it totally related to our situation and whatnot. So this is a prayer for all of you guys out there, whether you believe or not believe. Take it however you want to take it, but this is just something for you guys to work on healing and growth. It says, "Dear God, help me to release the weight of the past and embrace the peace that you offer. Let your peace, which surpasses all understanding, guard my heart and mind as I move forward. Teach me to lay down my concerns at your feet each day and trust you with all my worries. Fill me with your love so that I may extend it to others, showing grace and kindness without reservation. May I live today fully in your presence, free from past burdens and open to the new opportunities you provide. In Jesus' name, A to the men."
We'll leave you guys on that note.
Yes.
For sure. Hopefully it's a blessing to every single one of you that have tuned in.
Definitely.
Anybody that is going through a situation, tell them, hey, listen to the Bump Podcast. Might help you out in some. You might get a little gem real quick from them, and it helps you out some way, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you guys again for tuning in. We love you guys as always.
We love y'all.
We appreciate your time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The Ringle Dingle Dingle as always. Get notified. We are cool people. We're awesome.
We're all right, yeah.
You guys are awesome for following us and hitting the Ringle Dingle Dingle. So, you know, again, comment down below for sure. Like let us know. We're definitely lately we've been putting what do they call it? Questionnaires in our social platforms like Instagram, where we're asking about any other topics that you guys might want us to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Or people to bring on. Just bring some ideas. You know, with all our ideas that we've had have been just genuinely us brainstorming and the situations we go through on a daily basis. So we want to incorporate you guys as well as much as possible
Absolutely.
on this podcast, because this is
all for you guys.
Y'all's platform as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just have that in mind. Thank you guys again. We love you, and it'll be until the next time. Take care.
Have a great week, guys.